Okay, so everyone ready to kick this off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
It's
I
a
have-
lot here.
I
You wanna sit
understand.
first?
Did you eat some of them?
Got one piece there.
Just quick question out.
Okay. Is everyone ready?
Yes.
Everyone? Okay, so I'm gonna call this to order. And the first item is the report out of the closed session.
Thank you, Member Collins. The council did meet in closed session on 2 items. There was no public comment in advance of going into closed session. On the first item, the council gave direction to staff to defend the town, and there's no reportable action. Did a roll.
Now the roll call.
Right. Done. Councilmember Lewis,
I'm here.
Councilmember Whitmer,
Yep.
Councilmember Lane. Here. Vice Mayor DeGolia,
Yep.
Mayor Holland,
Here.
all present and accounted for.
Okay. And then are there any public comments that, how are we gonna public comment those? There's only one item on the agenda.
For closed for study sessions, it's public comment for items that are on.
Okay, and then we'll call public comment again for the item. Okay, does anyone have public comment for items on the agenda in the room or online?
No one online has indicated they have final comment.
Okay. Then kick it off, Brittany.
Good evening, council members, Brittany Bendix, town planner. Thank you for having me tonight. I'm here to give an update on our efforts for facilitating on-campus housing as part of our housing enrollment programs. You may recall that we met on September 3rd, in the fall of 2025. At that time, I presented kind of 3 approaches we're trying to consider in terms of assisting in this effort. The first being providing staffing and financial support for grants to seek grants and loans that support housing development. The second would be how we use staff to help foster building public-private partnerships, which we refer to as P3s, between the university and a developer. The third was then facilitating a donor-driven development by passing a committee of residents with pursuing some advancement of plan development for college. So really the direction from the council at that point was to do some high-level grant evaluations and then also pursue working with outside residents. So we have a couple of different efforts from outside residents. I know one is online, participating virtually, and Mrs. Flaherty here, Carol Flaherty, she can address what her efforts have been. Just to give us a brief summary of the grant research that we've done. We actually were given the name of a company, California Consulting, which is a firm that specializes in grant writing, by Councilmember Whitmer, who met them, I believe, at the League of Cities.
Yeah, League of Cities, that I went to their presentation and talked to them about what we were trying to do, and they said they had experience in that and et cetera, so.
So they had a list of 15 common grant applications for campus housing that we were able to look at. Generally speaking, I think some of the barriers are the alignment between whatever the programming is for the college and the building that they want to see produced. And then also the timing of any sort of financial rewards that could be provided through the grant. So there are things that are out there, but they need to be tailored to a specific program that the building would provide as part of it. So we could further discuss those opportunities, but I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Ms. Flaherty.
Thank you. Well, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Carol. Good to
Welcome
see you.
back.
Yes.
I realize that I have not kept you all up to date by design on what our activities are at Menlo College. And part of it is that I am very hesitant because of the Brown Act to engage with you all, to be honest with you, after my low experience last year. So I've just kept things under quite rapid key, but tonight I'm
Quick
gonna
learner.
open the kimono and share it all. So I put together 2 pages for you of where we are, right now, who is we. The African Housing Coalition did commit to you all that we would come up with a rough set of plans for Menlo College and that could be used for fundraising. This is not a set that would be submitted to the building department for approval. But it turns out that it's a little harder to do a rough set of plans than one might think. If all we were gonna do is just go ahead and draw, rooms on a piece of paper, that's easy. What's not so easy is the mechanical. If you don't know the mechanical, then you really can't do the plans. So I have been spending a lot of time on the mechanical plans to incorporate. So where do we stand? The Housing Coalition, primarily Jeff Morris and myself, have met 3 times with the college president and the dean and the development head 1 time. They've been really constructive meetings where they have shared with us the vision for the college, what they think their problems are, and where they want to take it. Where they want to take it is graduate programs. And so what they shared with us that they need is graduate housing, graduate student housing, not undergraduate. And they need staff. Staff, in their words, is not faculty. It is the cafeteria workers, the landscapers, the cleaning team, people like that. And adjunct faculty. So they shared with us that most of their full-time faculty, they already have houses. They rent them, they own them. There's no need there, but they have a lot of adjunct faculty that come to the campus 2 or 3 days a week, and they need housing for them. So that's our focus. It is graduate students and adjunct faculty and campus staff. Okay. So I had 2 campus tours that were very, very insightful and interesting with the facility head. And I went to the John Arriaga Residence Hall. And I was quite surprised at what I saw. It is very, very small, 1-room units, no built-in closet, shared bathrooms, very large ones on a hall, no ADA compliance, and they don't care about that. Not a lot, but several large study rooms on each floor and meeting rooms, plus a security office. And they don't like the heating system they currently have, which vents to the outside. They'd like to see something different on that. These rooms are really tiny, really tiny. And I was stunned. There's no closet, no sink, no amenities. It cost $25 million to build that facility. It was built 4 years ago. You couldn't build it for that today. And I don't think that's what the college is thinking about for graduate students and adjunct faculty. So
Wait, is
No, no,
that,
no.
is,
It's a
is that
dorm.
undergraduate?
Yeah,
It's all
housing?
undergraduate.
it's just
They
a
do
dorm.
have some staff housing that I did not
Yeah.
see. All right, and it's very limited, but that is all undergraduate, and they see a reduction in their undergraduate student body because it's hard to get visas. They have a very large international student population, very hard to get visas. It's scared off applications and reduction in federal funding. So they do not see undergraduate growth as being in the cards. They have, I think, 2 graduate programs right now, and they were talking about 3 more. At the time that we met, they see the growth there. And they would like to, they don't see a big growth overall, though. That would really just replace the students they're missing on the undergraduate and then add a little bit more. I thought they had a good plan. And they were very, very, very open with any questions that we asked and in sharing all of their plans. But if we're looking to the Arriaga Center as being a guide for our multifamily housing, it's not. It's not there.
I never thought it would. It's just a dorm. It's a
Yeah, it's a-
dorm.
it's
room.
like-
Good one.
It's
No.
not even a dorm like I had in college.
Well, you
Yeah.
went to an exclusive
Right.
college, Carol. I mean, come on, let's be honest.
For clarity, that dorm does not count for the town's.
No, it
Yeah.
doesn't, yeah.
So this is graduate
No.
student housing
Yeah.
and faculty and staff.
But the apartment building would have to have amenities like
And that's what we're planning.
bathrooms, a
That's
kitchen,
what we're planning.
closets, in
That's
order
what
for
we're
them to, you know,
So it's gonna cost
counted.
a lot more, you know,
Okay.
with all of that.
Yeah.
So something interesting happened though in December. My husband and I decided to buy an apartment building, which we did. 40 units. It happens to be on the high end luxury and in Belmont. And so I have spent a lot of time up there with the facilities head, understanding the mechanical of that building because it is 40 units. And I think it's very similar to what this multifamily would become. And so I took a look at the mechanical of Ariaga, I took a look at what we're buying. At the same time we bought that, I studied 3 other apartment buildings that we were interested in investing in Burlingame. And again, the apartments didn't interest me nearly as much as the mechanical, because when you buy something, you have to maintain it. And that's usually where you have the problems, on the maintenance. So with all of that, I went back and kind of revisited my initial thinking on it. And then we had one site visit that 4 members of the Housing Coalition, all of which were commercial, did. And the college doesn't know about this yet, because the development head wanted to be involved in that meeting, and there was objection to that. So,
Objection from the president?
objection
No,
from
from the
the
Housing
4 members of the
Coalition.
Housing Coalition, one in particular. And so they went up there and studied the 3 locations the college gave to us. College gave us 3 locations, so in the second bullet here are site locations. The president was very interested in building a structure as you go into the front entry in the right parking lot. And he wanted a 3-story building that would have parking not only for the residents of the building, but visitor parking and a lot more than we ever contemplated. A massive parking garage. Then there was a parking lot that's right across from the admin building. They also recommend, it's very small, it will not work. It's so small that we would have to tear down the new athletic center that they have just finished, which of course we're not gonna do. And so that leaves one other property, it's called the O'Brien lot, and it is the one that's at the corner of Alejandro and Valparaiso. And the 4 commercial builders from the Housing Coalition, when they looked at 3 sites, also felt that was the most likely, and a 4-story building instead of 3, because the town has approved that, and it's a lot cheaper to build 4 stories than wider 3 stories. So that is.
Why would they limit the building in the lot to the right of the entry to 3 stories?
They felt that the residents of Atherton would be more receptive to a 3-story building than they would to a 4. That
We
was. that was what
zoned
the
it for
said.
4, right?
Yeah.
You approved 4.
I think we zoned it for 4.
You did zone it for 4, and as I look at the property, there's a lot of trees in there
Yeah.
that would really shield it. I don't see a problem with a 4-story building. at
So
all.
who
And
is
it's
it?
across from the sports courts, you know.
Wait a minute, are you talking about the Alejandra? Okay,
No.
all right. See, you guys are talking about 2 different locations.
We are.
Bullet point number 1,
Can we pull up the map? and-
the parking lot to the right of the entry.
Just
No,
look on the screen.
you're
so
talking
that's-
about
The presence, number 1, is to the right of the front entry.
That's
Right, that's what the president proposed.
That's what the president, but because he
Can someone
wanted
gonna wait for
it
us on
to
the map?
also have a much larger parking
I
garage.
understand.
Can we pause for a
We're-
second?
we're- She's working on the map, hang on a
Put up
second.
the map.
Just get your
Michael.
Vanna White on.
Michael.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
No, she's working.
Oh, okay, all right.
But I
No,
have
but-
to join the Zoom. call.
but yeah.
Okay, ma'am.
That's it, we're waiting for some Vanna White, some gesturing on a map, we're all
And
different.
and
Let
where
them
am I,
work on
am I
the
gonna
map,
have
we
to
can
move
still
my
talk.
seat so I
Yes.
can see?
So,
You didn't answer my
Is it
question.
gonna go clear?
My question was, why are they focused on limiting any building? I understand they want lots of parking, but any building to the right of the entry to 3 stories versus 4.
Well, it's any building, period. The president suggested that a 3-story building he felt would be more acceptable to residents.
Well,
But I don't think that's really an
No,
issue, but
that's not
he
right.
was trying to be sensitive.
yeah,
So which side of the entries
Why?
is the 3-story building that the president wanted to have? Is it on the right-hand side abutting up to the El Camino, or is it on the left-hand side, which is the open
So I
space
think we're
that's
going
going up against
Let's-
Victoria Manor?
Okay, let's look at the map and point us.
No, it's not the great mess. So when you go into Menlo College,
Right,
you have the whole big parking area to the right,
right.
that's where it would be.
Oh, in that parking lot.
In that parking lot.
Oh,
So that parking lot would be gone.
okay, got it, thank you.
And then this new building would be there with a much bigger parking area than just the footprint of the building.
Got it, thank
So
you.
that's what he wanted, but you guys are suggesting the parking lot off of.
Alejandra, and
So at Alejandro.
which
and
makes
Alvarado-
so much sense.
That's what we had originally said we were gonna. we were gonna
Exactly,
do.
Right.
yeah,
And so
because
we're
it's near the
suggesting a
theater.
4-story building
just makes so
there.
much sense,
It's
and
cheaper
it's
to
just
build.
there.
Right.
And it's got a lot of trees in there.
Right.
It's
Okay,
across from the Menlo School sports area.
This is the Alejandra,
That's
this is
the
the,
O'Brien lot.
yeah, well, I
That's
guess
it.
it, but it's El
That's
Camino
exactly
Alejandra,
Yeah,
okay?
that's the O'Brien lot.
Yeah, and that's.
And you have
right
an
next to
entry
it
from
is the
Alejandro.
And then the
Eric's office.
other place
Is
that
the
he was,
entry right,
right
Is it
here.
so?
yeah, to the
and,
right?
to the right was this little parking
No, no,
lot,
Further
no?
over,
Like there,
right here.
right there.
Can't see it.
No,
I understand
you're
that.
blocking.
Well, it's right,
It's
I think
here,
that what we zoned for 4 is right there.
Yeah, that's what we talked about.
It's the parking lot.
Did we,
no,
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 it's just past the parking lot. There's a couple bungalows in there.
Barracks.
we did not.
Barracks,
World War
yeah,
II
from
barracks.
World War II.
Yeah, right.
Well, but the issue with the Alejandro one is would need a light there, and there's already a light on the other location.
But we talked about putting the light.
there's not a light, there's a light at
We
the
talked about
entry.
it, we
I
did
think
that
that's a
when we
separate
were-
issue.
Yeah.
I don't know if it needs a light or
It's
not.
Well, there's another reason that makes sense to have it off of Alejandra, because the Arriaga Residence Hall, which has some amenities in it that can be used by grad students, it's not that far. It's just across the parking lot
Right.
on the other side.
Right.
It's very close to, and so you'd have all of your housing kind of in that area. So that's the discussion. It really doesn't matter to the building that we're designing, which parking lot it goes on. It'll fit either one. The only one it will not work on is the small one that we'd have to tear down the phys ed center, which would be
Yeah.
ridiculous.
That makes
Yeah,
no
don't do that.
sense.
No, we're not doing that.
And we did not differentiate our zoning within Menlo College, right? Like, it's,
No,
Wait,
think
is
it's all-
that right, Brittany?
I'm trying to bring up the zoning, but they have me.
I'm not sure that that's right.
yeah,
We have both a RM20 and an RM40 site on.
I
Right.
think we did differentiate.
not Menlo School had our.
We did the RM40 near the
school.
administration
That-
building
That's right.
and the RM20 on the O'Brien lot. I'm pretty sure.
Well,
that's
there was
what we did.
RM20s for Menlo College that were right off of Valparaiso in their parking lot. And then there was the RM.
you mean Menlo School,
Menlo School. And then the college, we talked about that
Oh.
area with that parking lot that's on Alejandro.
Well, I think we zoned more than one site for
Within-
multifamily at Menlo College. One for RM20 and one for RM40.
I don't happen to have
I don't
my,
remember that.
Well, Brittany has it.
I'm just curious
Yeah.
if we're gonna have to rezone things.
Yeah.
well, that would not be hard to do.
I know, I'm just,
Right.
you know, it's
But we just want to build.
cart horse, which, you know,
If I build two, when you can build.
So, again, for our purposes, getting the plans, it'll work on either.
okay.
Doesn't matter in
Yeah,
You all can decide,
So
ultimately where.
here is the parking lot in purple.
Yeah.
That aligns with the boundaries of the parking lot, and that's RM40.
Okay.
That's
And
on
then
40.
the
yeah.
red is the barracks. That's what we've been calling them, the barracks. That is RM20.
Right, okay.
And then this represents the parking lot over by the entrance that's right off of El Camino Real.
Yeah.
And that's also
It's the
RM40.
parking lot,
Yes.
it's not the
you're
bungalow.
right.
It's the parking
Yeah.
lot.
It's, that's what
Okay,
I
that's
thought,
good.
you guys said no.
So that gives us
It's the
more
parking lot.
flexibility.
Yes. And
Right.
these were drawn with Tom going out and walking the site with the president and reflecting on the letter that they had sent in 2021. So it seems like the sites that you toured are generally consistent with what we have here. But in terms of on that corner lot, that larger corner lot, going back and forth between 3 and 4 stories, that's exactly where we would want height
Yeah.
in town.
Absolutely.
Because
Further
across
from
the street is
Yeah.
The field.
the field,
Yeah,
Right, and
It
it's
is-
right up against
and-
El Camino.
right?
We also, amongst the housing coalition, felt like you come in the entry and you're looking at a big building. It is not very attractive, to be
Right.
honest with you. And the building will look like same finish as the Ariaga Center. We wanted to make it consistent with that, so the elevations will look the same. Right, it was just 1 story taller.
Ariaga is 3 stories.
It's 3 stories. So, we talked a little bit about the housing needs for the, college. Part of the story is down below, 1 story, the ground dips down to it, but yeah, it's 3. So, the housing needs, the college views this as being a very important recruiting tool for them in terms of staff, students, they have no graduate housing now, and then adjunct faculty. So they love the idea, but they are very emphatic, they have no money for it.
of course.
And sorry,
However-
can I ask a question?
Yes.
Do they like the idea irregardless of which of those 2 locations? What,
They
your
do.
bullet number 1
They
or
do.
number
They
3?
do, they're very supportive of our need for multifamily and their need for multifamily, very supportive.
Great.
I've heard nothing but enthusiasm from them and nothing but positive comment and willingness to work with the town. In fact, they are willing to work with the town on fundraising because they are going to start a multi-year, theoretically 2-year, $100 million fundraising campaign. They have a new fundraising director who is very enthusiastic and very willing to work with Atherton, but I have some concerns about it, as she would like the contacts. And I think that Atherton residents are best approached by Atherton residents for this.
Well, we could partner up with some
We can
people,
partner,
don't you
and we can certainly have some talk so that we're not approaching the same individuals, and we have to be consistent in the messaging as well and what the plan is for the college. But, I know of one potential donor that absolutely does not want to be approached by any college recruiting person.
What, so they're about to launch $100 million fundraising campaign, and what is the purpose of that?
The purpose is, structures. And so I did say, are we double counting this
Structure
facility?
including this housing?
I don't think this housing was included, but they did mention that maybe there could be some sharing of funds. Now, this was just idle talk of the development head. This was not the president.
And he's relatively new, isn't he?
She's relatively new.
Yeah,
And
but
she doesn't work on campus. She works from her home and comes in for meetings. But I liked her a lot. She's very enthusiastic, as one would expect from a development head, and really wants to do the right thing, in joining the town or for the college. So, the challenge is how to best use her enthusiasm. for us. So,
But Weiner's been
and I don't
pretty,
know-
Weiner's been pretty clear that his fundraising was to provide scholarships for students.
100 million is an awful big number for scholarships.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, it is, so.
I had
Maybe
the
he's wanting to-
impression that they were gonna do some remodeling
Yeah,
of
replacing some of
structures.
the old.
Yeah, they have to do
Not
that,
new, but
yeah.
remodeling, so.
Right, several of their buildings have been.
It was gonna go for
are-
some remodeling and then
Yeah.
for, academic.
Yeah, but he pretty much previously said that, he didn't have the money to build something, but he certainly would like us to help him.
And he is consistent in that remark with Jeff and me.
Yeah.
That was made very clear. Okay, so we
Can I
talked a
ask
little
about
bit about Ariaga and what it has, and I think it's important to understand, besides the room configuration, it has a cafe, a very nice cafe with a full kitchen where they can make sandwiches and meals. So we are not putting a cafe in the new structure. We don't need to. They have large study areas in there because the rooms are so small. Well, now we're gonna have real apartments where you have enough room for a desk in it, so you don't need those big study rooms. They have a gym over there. They have a gym next door. We don't need to put a gym in. They have a security office there. And they have no solar over there. That's another thing that we have to put in. Because PG&E now does require under net 3 that you have on-site storage for your excess energy. So when we built Adam Way, PG&E was storing it on the grid. We did not have to have batteries. There will have to be batteries now for this. So I've called Cobalt, which is my solar company, to say, hey, I need some help from you in designing this.
Are we required to put solar on it?
I think you are. Yep,
Solar ready for sure.
yep.
Wait,
So-
that's different
Well,
than putting
solar-
solar
Yeah,
panels
it's
on it.
different.
So but is there a state law now that would require solar?
I don't know about it.
Well, I went to ChatGPT and I asked. And I don't know if the answer is right, but it said
It's
yes.
a 50-50 shot.
So I think we need to plan a room big enough for all the batteries. It's gonna be a lot of batteries,
Where's our
But we
building
we'll
department?
only have to do the batteries if we do the solar.
if you do it right.
And
We-
and if
but we
we
have to
don't
plan
have
the
to do
room.
the solar, we,
Can I ask a question, Carol? In one of the meetings that the mayor and vice mayor had with Stephen, one of the things he did mention is that if there were some programmatic space in this new facility that was dedicated to something of a need on campus, whether it's the sports program or the at-risk student program or something like that, he would be willing to identify a donor that might help fund part of the facility if that facility had a space dedicated to that. Did that come up in your?
And excuse me, let me just add on, his vision of that would be on the ground floor, so that there would not be apartments on the ground floor. It'd be more of a public space for this other type of a use.
No, he did not mention that, and I actually brought it up and didn't get an answer about, programs. And the programs that he was talking about were tech programs, for graduate students, where you would marry, an academic program with a corporate need in the valley.
Mm,
That was
mm.
more the vision that he articulated. He never brought up any other programs.
Well,
So in our plan right now, it is strictly housing.
Okay.
But there are some meeting rooms that I think are important to put in. So we have some of those, but no cafe, security office, no security office, and
no gym.
no shared bathrooms, none of that stuff this time. So what are we planning? Second,
Are you gonna go into the floor plan, or the size of the units now? Is that where you're heading next?
I'm sorry,
Are you gonna talk about the size of the units right now?
right now, next
Okay,
page. I'm going to the units. So the plan had, I think, 42 units, and we are designing 60. Because mathematically it works better, and quite frankly, I think we're gonna need more units. They would love to have a design for 100. They mentioned that. It's not what we're doing.
No, that's outrageous.
wait, they would like to see the
100
design have
units?
100
They
living
would
units?
love to have I got an email from the development head after the meetings with the president saying that she had talked to the president and that they were very desirous of having as many as 100 units.
Well, then they can pay.
I don't think that we're planning fundraising for 100.
Would all the residents be
George.
associated with the college in some format?
Yes, that's what they're requiring.
I'm sorry, what's that?
Yeah, would all the residents be associated? with-
Absolutely,
Yeah,
yes.
they don't want outside people
Yes.
on their campus because they do their own.
So
Yeah.
I have the layouts for a studio apartment and a one-bedroom apartment. I am not planning any two-bed. And the reason for that is that I think when you get to two-bedroom, we tend to have families with children.
Mhm.
I really don't see children on that campus.
Mm.
There's no playground, there's no amenities for it, we're on a busy street, I just don't see it. And I haven't shared that with anybody else, but,
Yeah.
and then if you go to two bedrooms, sometimes have to have two baths, it's just a whole different animal, it doesn't align well as you're building the structure.
So Carol,
They do
I think you're absolutely right in that assessment, because you know the new townhomes along El Camino at Middle Plaza that Stanford built for
Right,
this, they only have studios and one bedrooms.
Yeah.
They do not have any two bedrooms
Right,
units
yeah.
in that whole massive
Yeah, I just,
structure there.
I don't
Because
see
they,
families there.
exactly
Right,
that
Yeah.
reason. Then they get all the grandmothers and the mothers and the kids.
exactly, and it's a whole different animal. So this really is focused on graduate students, staff, they may be married, but they don't bring, their children, they don't have children. Or it could be two staff living in one, unit as well with one bedroom, I don't know. And, the adjunct faculty
Mhm.
that will be coming in
Mhm.
and staying 3 days a week is what we were told.
So would
they do
that be
have-
on a rotating
Faculty that
basis,
doesn't
or
have housing.
almost like a hotel, the adjunct?
No, I mean, they would have to rent and, because these do have to be leased.
So whether they're there 2 days a week or 5 days a week is irrelevant.
It's
for
irrelevant
this
to
purpose.
us.
Exactly.
They'll be leasing it. But
Because
here's the
they're
problem.
gonna, we have to build it and
Here's a
they'll
big
figure
problem.
out how to manage the rental piece.
They lease their staff housing right now, they have some staff housing for no more than $2,500 a month,
Yes.
whether it's one or a two bedroom.
Well, that qualifies as affordable.
Yeah,
Some
Yeah,
of their,
Really low.
some of their,
when you're building a building like this, it doesn't cover the cost.
some of their
So, but
staff,
that's-
some of their staff and their coaches and things like that. They have families that live there. Now, they can move them and to move people out of the barracks and put them in the barracks or move them from where they are, because they have some apartment buildings in some of the dorms already, but they do have families living there, Carol. And it's not just one or two. It's a lot.
It won't be in this building, unless we're told to change
It's
it.
not staff, it's
So-
faculty and coaches.
So how big is a studio apartment? About 465 square feet. How big is a one bedroom? 650 to 700 square feet.
So why so small on the one bedroom?
So we can get more in,
Yeah,
right? And I went out and I looked at Menlo Park, an average size for a one bedroom and a studio. And the one bedrooms were a little bit larger than this.
right, that's what I thought.
But I looked at the average for the state, it's lower than this,
Yeah,
Believe
that
it or
doesn't
not.
surprise me. It just seems,
right?
I'm also looking at it from the standpoint of what kind of housing stock do we want in the town in general? And whether or not, let's,
Right.
long.
I'm looking at it in terms of cost, as
Yeah.
well, so I think the one bedroom, it's probably gonna be about 700.
Yeah.
By the time we're
7 to
done,
8,
The studio maybe about 500, this is the range it's in right now.
Well, there's just gonna be residents that are here for 2 years. It's not housing stock for
Right.
residents.
Right.
It's somebody who's come from somewhere else and they're gonna be here for 2 years, they can graduate and they're gonna go away. It's not residential housing per se.
Yeah,
One thing that the college was very clear on is the faculty do not want to be co-located, same floors, same general living area as students, even graduate. They want some separation.
Yeah.
So one could say, well, should we build an L-shaped building where part of it is faculty and part of it is, the student, but then you're building two buildings, a lot more expensive.
Well, would floor separation work, or they want
Well, here's
separate
what we
buildings?
came up with. No, they didn't say how to design it. They just said they don't want to all be mixed together. So what I came up with is a large entry. You have an elevator, which they currently have straight across the entry. If you go one way, you're gonna be faculty housing. If you go the other way, you're gonna be student housing. At the end of both buildings, there's a staircase, which is the way it is right now at Ariaga. There's a staircase at the ends. So if you don't want to use the entry, if you're on a lower floor, use the staircase, and you'll never see the other. How much mix are you gonna have if you only have a shared entry? Not a lot. And
So
the
the
elevator, you
faculty,
need-
the faculty are gonna be longer term in terms of their tenure in the area?
I don't know how long adjunct faculty stay there.
Did they
So-
tell you how many faculty
Yeah.
rooms they need? Because they don't need that many.
This is not their permanent housing. They have a house someplace else, but they
Okay.
travel
Oh,
to town.
it's a landing spot.
Right, it's a
I got it.
landing spot.
All
Yeah,
right,
but
So they said they don't need it for regular faculty housing, that permanent, full-time faculty already own or
Right,
rent a
right,
house someplace else or an apartment.
all right.
They need it for the adjunct members that come to town 3 days a week.
And did you raise the idea of the separate wings with the common entry?
I have not talked to them about this yet.
Okay.
So I had hoped to meet with the president this week and go over the, 3 plans, which, I have them scribbled on paper. I need to put them on drafting paper tomorrow. And he's out of the country. He'll be back, I hope, next week. So I've asked for a meeting next Friday to go over it with him and show him the actual plans. And of course, I'm sure there's gonna be revisions after that. He'll have ideas that we need to incorporate. And then I have talked to PPG about doing the final CAD drawings, they agreed. So Jeff talked to one person at PPG and I talked to another. Both principals and both said yes, they would do it. And they were fine, they were happy to do it. There's no issue about that.
You might
Okay.
wanna think about a
So
larger size, you might wanna think about a larger size for the adjunct faculty in terms of.
they will, so the graduate student will be the studio.
Right,
The adjunct faculty will be the 1 bedroom.
okay, got it, all right.
So, again, no gym, no cafe, some meeting rooms, no shared baths, everything has a bath. All electric, because I know that's what you all would like, and it's the county. So right now they do have some gas in Ariaga, but there's no gas here. And I did talk to Mike HVAC company this morning that went to a supply house today to talk to them about what all electric with air conditioning. They have no air conditioning in Ariaga, but they come nowadays with heat pump, air conditioning, and electric all in one unit. So you will have to have a utility closet that will have a hot water and the HVAC in there. There'll probably be 3 or 4 large units on the roof as well to accommodate. We'll have separate metering for the electric. Water, as in most apartments, will be common, shared. There's a separate meter for water. And they'll divvy it up.
Separate meter for
Water?
water?
Not water.
No separate.
just for
no separate,
electricity.
Only for
Just for
electric.
electricity.
We'll have separate for electric.
Right.
Solar, I have called Cobalt to say, you need your help on design. Let's figure out how many batteries we're gonna have to have here, and at least design the room for it. And how the
Well-
wiring.
Well, why don't we double check with our building official?
Yeah, let's
about the
first make sure it's
requirement, okay?
required.
I don't trust Chat GPT or AI.
I do think, George, I think you're right about ready. But what does ready mean? Ready means you have to have a room. Ready may mean you have to have wiring in there. Well, wiring conduit.
You have
And
to have
so-
wiring, I don't know about it.
All you're doing is you're not putting the panel and the batteries in. The panels on the roof and the batteries,
No, you don't put the wires
but
you don't put the wires in the conduit, you just have to have the pathways.
you have to have the batteries installed.
Pathways,
Pathway.
the pathways,
Pathway.
that,
Yeah,
Yeah, so like, for example, this building was solar ready. We had areas for the panels and the inverters. We didn't have to have batteries for here, and then there were conduits and pathways going up to the roof to allow for that future
But you
installation.
didn't wire. You just had the conduit,
Yeah,
right,
so the solar installer
right,
would install the stanchions and the panels, wire it down into the room, like you said.
well, I'm gonna, yeah.
And put in the inverters and.
Yeah, we'll have to have the room ready, you know, for the batteries. So I've asked Cobalt to, I'll just ask them, to tell me what, in their mind, it would take to be solar ready on this.
Carol, we have hard stop at 6 as part
Hard
of
stop,
the rec.
okay, we're almost
Take the
done.
room from us, so,
Why
So-
We haven't had public.
Why no
comment.
ADA?
and we have to do public comment.
Because they said they didn't need it, but I don't believe that.
Yeah, I don't think.
And so I think we're going to have a certain number of KDA compliant units. Right, so what's the studio unit gonna have? It's gonna have a cooktop, a microwave, a secondary disposal. I hadn't planned on a dishwasher, but we can put one in. There'll be a utility closet for the furnace. And there'll be a hot water heater, a bath with a shower, no bathtub, and they'll have a built-in closet. For one bedroom, they will have a galley kitchen, a small washer and dryer in there. They'll have a bath with shower, they'll have full HVAC, hot water heater, and then a bedroom with a closet as well, so larger. What are we working on now? We talked about it a little bit. I'm working on the mechanical plan, the solar design, the elevator bid, and a rough budget. But I have to have the mechanical before I get the rough budget done. So the next plan is to meet with the college on next Friday, show them what we have, ask for their input, and then once we get consensus with the college, get the CAD drawings from PPG. And just to reiterate, the Housing Coalition will not engage in fundraising. We leave that up to you all to decide what to do. And as I mentioned, the college is willing to join in that. And that's the update.
Thank you very much.
Do you guys wanna, let's,
I have a quick comment.
wait, before we get to comments, let's do public
Go
comment.
ahead, no problem.
And so that we can cross that off, list. Is there any public comment in the room or online?
Nothing online.
Okay, great, now you can.
So I think a couple things. One, we have to check about the solar, because I'm not sure it's required. And number two, I'm not sure that you need to include washer dryers in each of those units. I've looked at affordable housing that's been built recently, which didn't have washer dryers. And we could have, a common space where there's a washer dryer. It's not as desirable, but I'm not sure how undesirable that is. I don't know that that's a deal killer.
So I have them in my new apartment building. They are really tiny. But for somebody who's there 3 days a week, who just wants to do, minimal laundry, it's a convenience for them. I thought I would design in the closet, where they could go in, and the plumbing.
But there's obviously an additional cost if you're having to.
There is.
Not just the
There is a
hookup, but if
cost.
you're having to provide a
So
washer.
it certainly is not gonna be on the graduate student side. There will be shared laundry over there, as they have right now. They have a
Okay.
big laundry room.
Well, you
But
might be,
again,
I would think you could do that for adjunct staff
Okay,
also,
we can
but
do that. We can do
they're
that.
somewhere else 4 days a week.
Yeah.
Yep,
All
They
over
can
LA,
take their
that's the
dirty
only part
laundry
they
home.
have.
So
Just go home and figure it out.
Brittany, in terms of direction that you guys need from us, do you have anything specifically that we need to give you direction on for this, or is this us receiving and then you're gonna come back in March? In that,
Specific to the resident effort, I think Carol is on the receiving end of the direction here. She's aware that my suggestion is that we provide you an update in the context of the 2025 annual progress report in March. George, do you think we need any direction on grant efforts, or should we wait until then?
We're gonna continue with the grant conversations we're having with California Consulting and other vendors, but there was also a conversation during one-on-one with a member of the council about the possibility that the council authorize staff, as we're talking about this, potential partnership with the college to use town funds to work with a grant provider to seek out and apply for grants with them collaboratively, but we can do that at a future meeting. It's not necessary today, but if the council is supportive of that idea, it's something to provide some feedback on.
depend upon what
Yeah,
the
what's the
amount is.
ballpark
Right,
for
right.
that?
Yeah, it would depend on the cost. We have to get a proposal and that sort of thing.
So we're gonna present 3 plans to the president next Friday, if we get the meeting. One's a 50-50 split, half grad student, half adjunct faculty. The other is a 60-40. We have 60% grad, 40% faculty and staff, and then 40-60, depending on what their need is, and they just have to give us direction afterwards.
So Title 24 requires PV, but there are exceptions that you don't have to apply it, but you have to go read Title 24.
As Brittany was indicating, it was based somewhat on height of the building and.
Yeah, the roof
Going
size,
from
it's
3 to 4
based on
stories
roof
makes a
size.
difference. So, but that, it's not just solar panel, it might be construction type, building classification, so there are some decisions embedded in that height choice.
Oh,
that
yeah.
I would be interested in learning more about is that.
Wait, so
Look it up.
is it required with 3 stories or with 4 stories?
They have a different set of requirements once you're above 3 stories.
And that set of requirements requires less or more solar?
More,
More.
yeah, I would
It
say
has to be
that the
more.
taller the building, the
Trees.
more required.
Yeah, if you don't put solar panels up there, you have to be solar ready, as Robert had indicated, but the exception that I'm reading here says it's based on the roof size. If it's less than 80 square feet, then you don't have to put solar.
Well, that's something.
80.
Yeah.
80 square feet, that's 8 by 10, right?
Yeah, right.
25%.
I mean, is that wrong?
That's what it says. I'm just reading it.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
you
sure
haven't yet
800
modeled I mean, I know you gave the size of the unit sort of general perspective on it, but you haven't modeled that in the specific structure, is
So I
that?
have,
Oh, you have?
Right.
And you come out at these numbers?
so it's so it's about 10,000 square feet for the bottom level, no, and I've even come up with a parking lot. So what do I have? I've got the unit layouts, I have the floor layouts, I have dummy space for the mechanical rooms right now and the electrical that I'm trying to finalize. We do not have a survey because the college did not have one. And we're not planning to do a survey. They didn't want to pay for it, and we don't want to pay for it. I don't think it's necessary.
Not at this.
Survey-
Not
survey-
necessary.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean
A
on the
survey
property?
is a site.
Yeah.
Now, they have surveys of the
Okay.
entire college, but they are really,
Right,
really
yeah,
not usable for this.
right.
We're not planning a survey. So we're planning to have roughly 5 pages. You know, you will not have 3 plans for the fundraising. You'll have the one the college decides on. It gives us the guidance. But I have them all drawn. I don't have them in a pretty beautiful format to show Stephen Weiner next Friday. So I've got to put it on big drafting paper, and then I will give the drawings to PPG to do the final CAD. And they've agreed to that. And so we will turn over to you all a set of drawings with exterior elevation, what it looks like, interior layout, the apartments, a list of what's in the apartments, you know, what we are funding, and a site plan to use for fundraising. That's the idea, roughly 5 pages.
And you're doing the architectural rendering for the exterior, the skin,
It's
the
pretty
look and
easy.
feel of it?
So I'm not doing that. I'm doing the interior layouts and all, but I have all the photographs from Ariaga, and I have their building plans.
Well,
So like
CPG can do
presentation,
the
I'm
architectural.
turning
layout.
that,
I hope so, because
so I'm giving.
personally, I think the Ariaga building is not very attractive.
Yeah, it's not good at all.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
okay?
I didn't vote for
And
it.
I don't know why we have to be married to it. And when they did it, they slotted it in between these
Right.
other 3
Yeah, it was a
buildings.
really bad plan.
and it has, yeah, so
I think it's a matter
Those are
of
the only ones
cost,
voting
Elizabeth,
against
so Ariaga, yeah, we can change that, so I think the front,
I mean,
is gonna be glass. You know, and the stairs are glass right now at the ends. Glass is very expensive.
It's also hard to heat.
So, it's a matter of how much more cost do we wanna add?
Well, you might
That's
get more,
subjective.
I mean, I would encourage PPG to be creative
Exactly.
within the cost range
Right.
that they.
I mean, it does,
Jude's
Beauty doesn't have to
architectural
cost
group's
a lot
very
of money.
good.
Yeah.
So that, and
So
I
it
think
may
they're
be
quite
that we
creative.
have, you know, that the entryway is a 4-story entryway, why not?
Yeah.
It may not be, in fact, I pretty much envision a 4-story entry going up to have that separation. We've got to have a separation somehow between the students and the faculty, which means you need that central area going up. The center may not be the center as we shift the number of studio and 1 bedroom.
Yeah.
And then glass on the end with the staircase, the way it is now. So you've got 3 areas of glass.
did, Mr. Weiner give you any idea about how many adjunct faculty he's anticipating? I
I
mean,
can't believe it's that many.
there can't be that many, like 15,
Well, not just
40,
adjunct. though.
100, I mean, maybe 40.
We are talking
Yeah.
about staff as well. So
Yeah, it's
staff
not
and
just
adjuncts
adjunct
are in the
faculty.
same bucket.
But the staff would be living there more
Okay,
regularly.
but, and they can
It
be
could
settled
be
together.
admin workers, it could be cafeteria, landscape,
Yeah, but they're there all
janitorial,
the
any of
time.
them.
They're there, for the most part, they're there all the time. But the
Uh-huh.
adjunct people,
Uh-huh.
they do have more adjunct than they have full-time professors, but
Right.
there aren't that many. That
He
would
really
be-
honed in on that. He honed in that he felt that was the greatest need and it was a recruiting problem for them, not to have housing, you know, of any kind.
I do remember him
It's so
telling me
expensive.
that, he
Yeah.
needed housing for
but-
his faculty.
You know, you should ask him how many adjuncts he has now.
So are you gonna meet with him again? Is that your plan?
I asked for it. I sent him an email, but he's out of the country in Jamaica. And so I haven't checked him out today.
That's nuts.
Yeah, we're gonna meet as soon as he's available.
Well, we'll get more answers. I mean, this is the beginning.
Yeah.
So-
Great start.
Yeah, you did a terrific job.
Really,
Thank
We've,
you.
so
That's the
we
bill.
put a lot of work into this. We have to have a lot of work
No,
in.
yeah.
And we do have the drawings. I mean, I have the drawings. They're on my kitchen table right now.
Oh my gosh,
And
you
all the
gotta be so
layouts
excited.
and studied. We've really
Excellent.
studied this.
Thank you.
Well, we don't
Thank
have
you all.
time.
Okay.
I can hardly wait till you're
So-
adjourned.
Close it.
I move for
Thank you.
adjournment. I move to adjourn.